Well, do I have tonsils? I sure did, y'all. I did. And then my next thought was, does everybody have tonsils?
So, as I cannot answer if tonsils grow back, however, this is a perfect opportunity for me to tell you my story with Bella when she was younger. And before anyone goes and tries to message Miss Mackenzie, she used your video. I already asked. Trust me. I talked to her, and she is one of the most down to earth people ever. Like, she is so sweet and kind. And if you don't follow her or watch her videos, she's got stories for days. And it also brings you realization of things that go on in the world that you would never think could happen. So check out her videos after you watch this one. So story 10 with tonsils. Bella was 4 years old, four, almost about to turn 5. And I was worried because she kept getting sick and we couldn't figure out what was going on with her. And she was missing, at the time, it was preschool. And I wasn't her teacher at that time. She was an actual VPK. It was the first time that I was never her teacher, and she had a whole new atmosphere and everything like that. And she was loving it, but she kept getting sick. And we couldn't figure out. So we took her to the doctors. We kept taking her to doctors, and they're like, "Oh, she's fine, just a little respiratory infection. Just take this, it'll clear up." We kept doing that. By the 3rd month, I kind of got tired of hearing the same thing over and over. So I went and I did my own research. I must have been a nurse in past life. Yes, I believe in reincarnation to it. I knew something was off, so I started doing my own research why kids get sick frequently and stuff. And it started talking about tonsils, that your tonsils catch all the bacteria and the viruses. So I made a separate appointment. I'm like, let's try this again. And the doctor office we went to, they've rotated doctors. Nothing against it. If you're a doctor or nurse watching this, no hate. Don't think I hate doctors or nurses because of my videos I make. It's just, these are my children. I'm the advocate for my child, and I'm going to do what is best for my child. I had a separate appointment, and I told the doctor I really want you to look at her tonsils and her ears and everything. And they did. They said everything's fine. I said, is there a way I can get like a second opinion? Not to be rude, but I just want an ears, nose, and throat doctor. You don't know. You have to get a referral before you go to any specialist. If you just show up or make an appointment, it's such a hassle. Get the referral. So we went to the ears and nose and throat with Bella. And I was 5 months pregnant at the time with Aiden. That'll come into play in a minute. Hold on. So we were getting her examined and everything. And the doctor was so sweet. Like, he talked me through everything. And he just looked in her ears and he even said, "Oh my." You don't want to hear that. You're like, so I'm like, "Oh my, what? What's wrong?" Like, me thinking as a parent, like, what have I done wrong? Like, I've been taking her to doctor's normal checkups. I've been doing everything. Every time she gets sick, I take her to the doctors. Like, what's going on? He said she had so much pus in her ears, it was almost ready to seep out because her ears kept getting ear infections. And it was bad for her as a child with ear infections. So he asked, did she get ear infections? I said, yes, she gets them periodically in our family. It runs in our family. This needs to be resolved now. She was getting her procedure done the next week. And it wasn't just her ears that needed tubes or her tonsils that needed to be taken out. She also had to have her adenoids removed. So if you don't know what adenoids are, it's in your nose, and it actually does the same thing as your tonsils do, and it catches all the bacteria and the viruses for you to help you reduce getting sick. Say, as a parent, it's not easy seeing your 4-year-old go through the pain that they're experiencing because they're not understanding why everything is hurting. Unfortunately, Bella had to have all 3 removed, or 2 removed and 1 added, something added. So she had to have her adenoids, her tonsils removed, and tubes put into her ears. The first day, she cried so hard, and it broke my heart. Like, and there was nothing I could do except for pray that God helped her through this pain. I went to the store the night before, and we stocked up on ice cream and popsicles and yogurt, all the stuff they recommend when you have your tonsils removed. Bella didn't want any of that. All she wanted was mommy's green beans mashed up. And even as sick as she was, she still wanted to eat healthy, and that was amazing. And we finally got her to eat the ice cream, but then she told us, you can't have dessert if you don't eat your dinner. So in her eyes, she still had to eat an actual meal, even if it was a vegetable that night, before she got her ice cream. Now, the reason I made the comment earlier in the video about, I know it's getting long, I'm sorry, I'm trying. But the reason I made the video about me being pregnant, one, don't go up against a pregnant woman. Two, eat. If you are pregnant before your child's procedure, I know you don't want to eat from them, try and sneak in a granola bar protein or something, because by hour 5, my blood sugar dropped and I didn't know it. So I started getting dizzy and I almost fell to the ground after Bella came out of the procedure, because I wasn't also taking care of myself as I should have been, as I was caring for another human being. Follow up the week after her surgery, her procedure. But we went to the doctor, and like I said, they rotate doctors. So I saw a different doctor that I haven't seen in months because they rotate doctors. She was looking at Bella, checked her ears, checked her nose, her adenoids, looked at me and said, "Oh, she looks fine, everything's good." I said, "It looks good with her tonsils." Before I said her tonsil removal, the doctor's like, "Yeah, her tonsils look great." That's when I looked at the doctor and I told her, I said, "Her tonsils look great." I said, "Do you want to clarify that?" And she looked at me puzzled. And she was like, "Let me look again, honey." And she looked, she's like, "Yeah, they're fine." I said, "So the surgical procedure, everything's healing." She's like, "What are you talking about? She doesn't have any scarring." You looked in Bella's throat at that time. You could see the white in her throat still from them having to burn. I think they have to burn the tonsils off with a special tool. I don't know. I didn't do much research on the procedure because I didn't want to freak myself out any more than I was already freaked out of her going under anesthesia. And that's when I changed my doctors that day. And the comment I made earlier about I must have been a nurse or something in another lifetime is because I don't like going ahead doctors. I am not a confrontational person, but if you make me become that, I will become that. Especially when we are talking about my child's health. The first time I had to go and contradict a doctor was when Bella was 3 years old and I was her preschool teacher, and we found out that she had H. pylori, which is a stomach bacteria, if you don't know, that can lead to cancer, stomach cancer. And unfortunately, it does start in young adults or children. And you can go your whole life not knowing that you have this disease. And they actually call it, the doctor that told us about that, call it the silent killer. Second, when Bella had issues with her health and she kept getting sick, her tonsils, adenoids, and tubes in her ears. Doctors didn't want to send me to the ears, nose, and throat. I insisted that they did. And good thing they did, because if not, she could have still been ending up sick. Third one, Aiden. If you haven't seen that video, I posted it 2 years ago. And it was talking about, I actually had my 20-week anatomy scan, was able to identify one P wave, and that one P wave possibly saved my son's life, because the doctor's like, "It's fine, he just moved." He didn't move. I saw the screen. I can feel when he moved. And after he was born, 4 months later, he was having to have open heart surgery. And we honestly don't know, I'm losing my phone. We honestly don't know where he could be to this day if we weren't so adamant about everything with his health, or even with Bella's health. I'm only making these videos though, so that way you as a parent are the advocate for your child. And yes, the doctors, the nurses, they all have degrees. But what you are a parent of that one-of-a-kind child that you will never get back, and you are the advocate for that child. But when it comes to their health, sometimes you have to put your own fear down and do what's right. And sometimes you may look like a complete jerk face child. You are the advocate for them until they turn 18. Even after 18, they still want you to be an advocate for them when they're going to the doctors. So don't ever think that you are overstepping when you are a parent.